I've managed to get my hands on a couple of really cool cycling items. There's a very clever 3D printed saddle and a very stylish long sleeve jersey. And the good news is that I managed to get them for a fraction of the cost that you would normally pay for items like this. In fact, they were an absolute bargain. As usual, it's time for a quick disclaimer here. I was sent these products from AliExpress, and yes, they are sponsoring today's video. I'll be honest and say that I appreciate that this type of content isn't always to everybody's taste, but as a small YouTuber, it's very necessary from time to time for me to make these partnerships because it funds the channel and means that I can continue to create the content that you do enjoy. And that in turn means that you can continue to watch that content completely free of charge. If you don't know who they are, AliExpress is a very popular online retailer that has literally thousands of products to choose from, and not just cycling related products either. They offer massive discounts, 5-day delivery and free returns, and right now they're having a December sale with up to 80% discount on selected items. They've also got an event on there at the moment called Team Up Cashback, where you can get cash back on your purchases, and while you're there, why not try their Shake AliExpress, where you can win up to £1,111 in shopping credits. And if that's not enough, there's also a selection of discount codes. The first item is this, the Aircode 3D printed saddle. And my first impression is that it's actually a very good looking, very stylish saddle. As you can see, it's fairly low profile, fairly flat, slightly raised at the end here, and then a slight dip down at the front here. The top part of the saddle is the 3D printed part. I've never used a 3D printed saddle before, or indeed a 3D printed anything before, at least not to my knowledge. And like I say, it's got this very clever little honeycomb design, and to my touch here, it's very kind of soft and there's a lot of padding there, so I imagine this is going to be a very comfortable saddle to sit on. And with the honeycomb design, that probably means that there's quite a lot of airflow. And as far as I'm aware, when the bottom half of you gets a bit sort of hot and sweaty, that's how you start things like saddle sores. So hopefully this would alleviate that to some degree. On the bottom here, we've got the carbon fiber rails, and that's attached to a carbon fiber frame. So it all feels pretty strong, pretty tough, fairly good quality product. And if you're worried about the weight, this weighs 225 grams. I personally don't care how heavy things are on the bike, you know, particularly when you're as heavy as I am. My main concern with a saddle is how comfortable it's going to be. At the moment, this saddle, if you were to buy it off AliExpress, they're having some kind of sale. It comes in at under £30, which is absolutely extraordinary, because you can go out to a bike shop or go online and buy saddles of this quality for a much, much higher price. But I suppose the only way of finding out how good this saddle is to actually fit it onto my bike and take it out for a test ride. So let's go and do that now. Well, here's the saddle fitted to my bike. Went on nice and easily using the bracket that I had on there already. The rails are a universal size. There was no issues. I just did up the bolts with an Allen key, and there it is. It's been on the bike about a week now. But looking cool and being all 3D printed is all fine and dandy. But if the saddle's not comfortable, then that all stands for diddly squat. So what does it actually feel like to ride this saddle? So the first thing is that the saddle is actually nice and wide, and it's fully supporting my sit bones, which is probably the single most important thing you want when choosing a new saddle. The next thing is that it's a fair bit firmer than I was expecting. I thought that that honeycomb arrangement would make it nice and bouncy, but it doesn't. But that's not necessarily a bad thing. The saddle I took off this bike had lots of padding, and I felt that I was bouncing up and down a little bit too much on it. And I don't get that with this saddle. I feel that I'm sat nicely and I could just concentrate on pedaling without trying to rearrange myself on the saddle all the time. As I said a moment ago, I've had this saddle on the bike for about a week now, and the longest ride I've done is about an hour and a half, and it just feels really nice and really comfortable. And the big test for me is whether I will put the old saddle back on this bike or not, and the answer is a definite no. I'm going to stick with this one because it's a much better saddle. Bear in mind though that we are all built very differently, and a saddle that is good for me might not necessarily be the best saddle for you, but at least with the price of this saddle being particularly cheap, you're not spending an absolute fortune to find out. Next up is this long-sleeved cycling jacket. So as you can see, my first impression is that this is a very nice, stylish jacket. I particularly like the colour scheme. So this nice kind of blue and purpley colour, I really like those colours. The jacket itself actually feels very nice and soft. It's made from a combination of polyester and elastane, so it's going to keep you warm when you're out on your rides. It's also going to wick sweat away when you get a bit sweaty. The material itself isn't desperately thick, so I would recommend wearing this jacket when the temperature is between 10 and maybe 5 degrees Celsius. If it gets any cooler than that, then you would probably want another base layer on, or another couple of base layers on underneath to keep you suitably warm. It's got a full length zip, so you just wear it like a regular jacket. And of course there are the obligatory 3 pockets in the back there, so you can store things like your phone and the extra nutrition and bananas and whatnot that you're going to take on your ride with you. All in all, I think this is a really, really nice, stylish jacket. Now, when AliExpress offered to send me this jacket, I did ask them to send me the largest size they had available so that it would fit my manly frame. But of course, when it arrived, it was about 3 or 4 sizes too small for me, which is a shame, because it's a really nice jacket and I really wanted to wear it. But I also appreciate the complete irony of trying to review a jacket that doesn't actually fit me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my partner Diana to model it for you because it fits her just fine. What do you think of it?
Well, it's quite nice. I might use it for running.
Running? Is your bike broken or something? If you like the sound of the saddle or the cycling jersey, or indeed if you just want to go over to the AliExpress website to check out some of the thousands of products that they have on there, then I'll leave a link to the website in the description below, along with a series of discount codes. In the meantime though, thank you for watching, thank you to AliExpress for sponsoring this video, and I'll see you on the next one.